Netresh, were you expecting the rank one after the exam?
Never, sir.
How were you as a student? Were you always a topper? Did you have bad days? Did you feel low? Did you have days when you thought that I can't do it?
When you read textbooks, there are some parts in the form of stories. They go into your brain
Yes, sir.
permanently.
Nowadays, there's a lot of confusion in the mind of the students that when should they actually start preparing for the entrance exam. What was your strategy? What exactly were you using?
Is how many hours you devoted daily.
COVID actually came in and studies, happened at home.
How should a person go about, doing the practice of such MCQs as and when he or she is in the first or the second prof now?
For pharma, I did use sir's book.
As Dr. Purv also said, जो आया है वही आएगा.
Sir, a beautiful thing happened yesterday. I got a message on Instagram and it was some student who got some good rank, 200 or something. And the last message, the last line was, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है सर क्या करूँ? From कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है क्या करूँ to the message, sir, thank you, I got selected. It just took 2 months. Even for Netresh sir, from 1000 to 1. In Cerebellum also we keep pushing students to do the late night PYQ, PYT marathons.
Absolutely. Being average won't matter, but your focus matters.
To reach the final destination, there are many paths.
Right.
So you can follow any path, but you need to follow religion.
I should not have any regret कि मैंने ये नहीं किया.
Agreed.
He focused on the basics and he utilized 100% of his time.
Right.
So that is the key, I think.
So Netresh, now what next? Hello everyone, this is Dr. Praveen Tripathi and I am sitting with INI CET Rank 1 Dr. Netresh, and we have legendary faculties with us, Dr. Gobind Rai Garg sir, Dr. Vivek Jain sir and Dr. Sparsh sir. So Netresh, first of all, many congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir.
One thing that makes it a bit more special for us is that all of us are from UCMS. Sir did his MBBS MD from UC, I did my MBBS from UC, sir did his MBBS MD from UC. Vivek sir has also spent I think 4 months in UCMS.
Yes.
And of course Netresh is from UCMS. So in this detailed interview, all of us want to understand the whole process of the preparation starting right from the MBBS years, and we want this interview to give certain kind of information or certain take home points for the students who are at different stages of preparation. So Netresh, we want to start with the MBBS years.
Yes, sir.
So how were you as a student? Were you always a topper? Did you always get distinctions? What kind of a student were you?
Sir, thank you very much for having me here at the very beginning. It's a pleasure to be amongst the most legendary faculties across the country. Sir, talking about my MBBS days, I was pretty decent, I should say, in my studies, and I can say I was above average. I was amongst the top scorers of my college. My ranks consistently have been amongst the top 5 and at times even the top 3 of my college across all profs.
So you were always a good student.
You can say that, sir.
One question I want to ask before I ask my seniors to take over. Nowadays, there's a lot of confusion in the mind of the students that when should they actually start preparing for the entrance exam, because there's always that confusion. Should I focus on prof exam? Should I start preparing for PG? And we keep on interviewing toppers. Some say that I started very late. Some say that I started very early. So during your profs, during the time when you were in the first, second, third, fourth prof, what was your strategy? Were you focusing more on prof exams? And the second part of the question is, what exactly were you using?
Yes, sir. Sir, I was of the opinion that to always focus on the thing in hand or on the task in hand, which is right in front of us.
Okay.
And I knew on the back of my mind that PG entrance examination is in some way or the other linked to what we have been asked in profs only.
Correct.
I mean, they are only going to ask us about MBBS curriculum. So for me, always the task in hand was what is right up in front of me, and that for which I mainly focused on prof examinations during my journey of MBBS. That I will definitely say that definitely helped me in my PG examination as well. And so second part of your question, the resources that I used, mainly I should say definitely in first, second, to a large extent of first and second year, I used standard textbooks. We all know what the standard textbooks are, and definitely I used to supplement them with Indian authors as well, because there is always a gap between what the foreign authors write and what is there in asked in our professional examinations. So that was supplemented well. And definitely in my third and fourth year also, I never left standard textbooks. I tried to read them as much as possible.
So I'm sure Goga sir and Vivek sir and Sparsh sir must be very happy.
Yes, sir. So to be frank, a solid foundation is one what a student needs, right? And I think Dr. Netresh has done it.
And I'm very, very happy that you followed the textbooks, because it's one of the rarity nowadays. Using the textbooks, we also went to UCMS someday, and we were very surprised to see that nowadays, even for props, the students are studying some small gutkas or some small things, rather than even during the professional years, they are using resources other than textbooks. They are not even reading the textbooks. So we were disheartened that day, but we are very glad to see that you are using textbooks.
So Nitresh, would you say that using textbooks, like you were talking about Robbins, and all of us say that Robbins is perhaps the most important book in MBBS. So do you feel that the fact that you had read Robbins, you had read some of the other standard textbooks, that give you a very strong conceptual framework on which you could build upon during your internship?
Definitely, sir. These standard textbooks, they help you lay a very strong foundation. And definitely in an examination like AIMS, INICET, they focus majorly on your basics. And that is very well covered in these standard textbooks. So at least for first and second year, I must say, to everyone, I recommend using, at least reading any textbook. I will not even say standard textbook, but at least we should get into the habit of reading. At least in first, second year, definitely. If you can do that in third and fourth year, that is always appreciated. But I would strongly suggest. And one textbook which everyone should follow actually is Robbins. This will help you, I mean, not in just in your professionals, not in pathology, even to a large extent of your medicine. And trust me, in an examination like INICET, directly or indirectly, you won't even realize that it will help you.
My question is, Netresh, most of the students nowadays are not studying textbooks. One of the major reasons they say that the textbooks are so bulky, we have so less time.
Yes.
So my question is, how many hours you devoted daily so that you could complete all the textbooks and you could revise also and keep them as a main source even for PG entrance? Because that is one of the exception which I am seeing in you. I have interviewed many toppers, but none has said that they relied only on textbooks as the main source during the entrance exam also. So how many times you study the textbooks? Many hours daily you studied?
Okay, sir. Sir, first year, I believe, when we are introduced into MBBS in our first year, everyone starts with the basic textbooks of the 3 subjects. At least we are in the frame of mind that we have to study textbooks, and we all go to shop some days either to buy that. So first year, everyone does that. The moment we enter second year, we start to get those bulkier subjects. And at first, I also felt pressure, trying to complete the entire textbook. I should say, luckily for me, I must say that COVID actually came in and studies, happened at home. So that gave me a lot of time to study as well on my own. I will not say that this is a good thing or this is a bad thing. That is a separate story. But yes, I did find time for myself to study while I was back at home, and I tried not to waste that. So I did study, and for me it was to have one comprehensive reading, and I used to underline whatever I found was important.
But at the same time, I believe, as you very nicely said, that along with the textbooks, you added Indian authors. Like you were talking about Sir's book, Review of Pharmacology. So how did you put that thing in the strategy? How did you balance the textbook with books like Sir's book, which is also very commonly used for MCQs and for entrance also?
Yes, sir. So at first, I used to read whatever has been the standard book for that particular subject. And I used to underline whatever important areas I find. And I used to supplement that with an Indian author's book. For pharma, I did use Sir's book. For many of the subjects, like whatever we all know, what have been the standard Indian author's book, colleges also recommend some of their own books. So that I did follow because I had to pass my prof examinations as well. So that I followed comprehensively from A to Z. And standard textbooks, one reading I had thorough. At the same time, I used to underline that. And the next time I only read whatever I had underlined. And during my entrance, the preparation for my entrance examination during my internship, I did not focus, I focused only on the underlined stuff, and even that, not on every underlined topic. Because there is a lot of overlap between various subjects. So, and I used actually 2 bookmarks for my textbook, because even underlined stuff in standard textbooks becomes a lot too much. Right. So whatever I felt was volatile, I focused more on that topic towards my internship, especially during the revision.
Just brings back beautiful memories of what we used to do in the libraries with the blue pen. Then there used to be a red pen and a green pen. So green pen just meant, marking the material which is required for passing in the professional exams. Blue was the one that we personally found to be pretty useful, and red was the one which is likely to be asked in the entrance exams.
And sir, to add something, like for some of the bulkier textbooks, like I followed Kaizen. So I mean, I did not use it as a primary resource. My primary resource was always an Indian author's book. So when I was like I'm reading Kaizen. So I used to summarize that entire chapter, whatever extra information I used to find within half a page or 1 page as the weightage of the chapter, so that I could, read that again, because this thick book always looks intimidating. But if I see concise that in just 30-40 pages for the entire textbook for 30-40 chapters, then you feel okay, this much you can do. So,
and Netresh, with the new competency-based medical curriculum kicking in, students are now being asked some fraction of their professional exams in the form of MCQs. So unlike a traditional exam where you used to be given short notes or the long questions or explain by rational-based questions or difference between questions, now you have 10 marks questions or 20 marks questions for the MCQs as well.
Yes, sir.
So since it is a part of the curriculum now and it is mandatory, how should a person go about, doing the practice of such MCQs as and when he or she is in the first or the second prof now?
Okay, sir. Sir, one thing is to get hold of whatever PYQs in that prof examination have been asked to you. Just go through that to have a good practice. And the other part is to, actually, sir, some way or other, when you are reading as well, that is helping you in solving MCQs as well. At least I should say in professional examination, that is helping. I can understand for entrance examination, your competition is relative. You have to perform better with respect to others.
Agreed.
For professional examinations, it is not so. It is more of passing. So in that way, I don't think there is a specific MCQ specific strategy, at least for first, second profs, I must say.
Okay.
For them, for like professional examinations, you are only like competing for your own sake. So usme, I believe that whatever like you have been following, that itself helps.
One point that I want to make here, sir, is that, different students take different approaches and there is no right or wrong approach. I mean, we have interviewed so many students who say that they started doing MCQs rigorously from the third prof.
Yes.
And here is Netresh Rank 1 who is saying that, focus on the content that will take care of MCQs. So the take home point is that there is no single right approach. Whatever suits you, whatever floats your boat.
Yes, sir.
Basically, to reach the final destination, there are many paths.
Right.
So you can follow any path, but you need to follow religiously.
Sir, but one thing Dr. Netresh has clearly defined his strategy. Remember one thing he has mentioned very clearly. He focused on the basics and he utilized 100% of his time.
Right.
So that is the key, I think.
I think so. A very good take home point is that you have to minimally waste the time and focus on the academics as hard as people used to do at one point of time earlier. And when he made a mention of especially those PYQs and PYTs, just brought a smile on my face when I was looking at Praveen Tripathi sir as well. One of the hallmarks and one of the, I would say, a stalwart feature of Cerebellum app, which he has brainchild, his brainchild was to develop it and present it to the students as well. So how much do you think, Dr. Netresh, is the role of being well versed with the PYQs or the PYTs is for cracking any kind of an exam, be it the NEET PG exam or the INI CET?
Sir, very important. I'll share my ranks with you across the various entrance examinations.
Okay.
My first attempt at competitive exams was May INICET.
Okay.
I had given it on the backdrop of just completion of internship, and for me all the heavy duties were towards the very end. So I could not even revise whatever I had studied, and with 1 or 1.5 months remaining towards the entrance examination, I started solving PYQs. Somehow, because I was not able to revise, I found them really tough, and I felt completely lost doing that, because I felt even I'm getting basics question wrong, which many students are actually answering right. So I felt okay, I'll revise everything quickly and then I'll focus on PYQs. And I tried my level best. Somehow that did not happen. My revision took too long and I went into INICET without doing any PYQ. I ended up getting a rank of 205. So I felt it's pretty decent rank, considering I could not, have an exam specific strategy, exam oriented strategy. So I felt a rank of 205 is pretty decent. I have NEET examination upcoming and I can improve on that. So I went into NEET examination this time. beginning my preparation with PYQs. I had not solved any PYQ prior to that. That I still believe is a mistake on my part. So I gave NEET one of my shots. I did try somehow, like as luck would have it, or as maybe the stars weren't aligned, or maybe I did not put that much effort, maybe I was distracted. I landed up getting a rank of over 1000, that is 1019 in my NEET PG. So when that happened, I was pretty left much dissatisfied, because I was someone who was getting ranks amongst top 25 or top 50s across GTs. But somehow that day did not turn up well for me. And I realized prior to the result as well that this paper probably did not go very well for you. And I have 2 months remaining for my next entrance examination. I can, stop there, or I can give it one of my shots at the examination. So I realized my mistake from last INICET, and this time, even before NEET PG results were out, I started solving PYQs of AIMS and INICET and AIMS. Last 7 to 8 years PYQs I did. And even before NEET PG results were out, I was done with my PYQs. I realized that doing PYQs actually takes longer than what one thinks. And after completing those 7 to 8 years, I made a list of all the important topics that were asked, and my PYQs I gathered PYTs. And then I went into all the whatever detail I could go in that limited amount of 2 months of time to get a hold of those topics. And more than anything else, it helped build my confidence going into the entrance examination. And definitely in this examination, I felt there were lots of PYTs asked. To give a figure, I think it will be difficult. And somehow when you practice that over and over again, you don't even realize that this has been a previous year question. Somehow it goes into your subconsciousness and you just mark that. So I think it's a difficult, to give one figure is very difficult. Probably many of you faculties would actually analyze that and come out with the exact figure of how many were PYTs. But yeah, I should say more, I think 60-70% to say the least was based on that. And you don't get those questions wrong if you have practiced. And yeah, so in that way, if 60-70% is coming from one source, so I think that's
So if I may, sir, just summarize what Netresh said. I mean, in Cerebellum also we keep pushing students to do the late night PYQ, PYT marathons.
Absolutely.
And Netresh made a very valid point that everybody thinks that let me complete the course, in the end I will do PYQs, but that end never comes, right? So it is so important. I mean, the reason why everybody thought that let's give PYQs, PYTs questions every day was this: let's get the student into the habit of solving 40 or 50 PYQ or PYT every day, and so that they can also revise it. Netresh got around 85% marks in the INICET exam. 187 correct?
I attempted 197, got 178 correct.
So if we deduct the negative marks, somewhere around 85-86%. And out of those, around 70% are coming from the PYQs plus PYTs. So imagine the chunk that comes from there. And Goga sir says this, Vivek sir says this, Sparsh sir says this. Everybody who has been teaching for decades says this, that the percentage may vary, but they would always form the bulk of your exam.
As Dr. Purva also said, jo aaya hai wahi aayega.
Jo aaya hai.
Yes.
But then the fact of the matter is that somebody who is trying to cram only the answers of the PYQs is not likely to succeed. Having a strong foundation with the kind of effort that he has put in, supplemented by the regular practice of the MCQs, and I think Dr. Praveen and sir would also agree. I mean, if you just look at the social media groups of Cerebellum as well, that there is a lot of students who are giving a testimony to the fact that their ranks have actually improved by leaps and bounds. So from the people getting an initial rank of, let's say, a May exam or a NEET exam of thousands of ranks to now getting a 3-digit rank or a 4-digit rank as well is something that they have drastically experienced.
Even for Netresh sir, from 1000 to 1 suddenly. Yeah. So I think what used to be the importance of PYQ, now that's the importance of PYQ plus PYT, right? You have to build on the concepts as well. Right?
So I just realized Dr. Praveen started on the group one thing which is called manifestation. So that was an excellent thing. On our students of the Cerebellum Academy, they are on the Telegram group. So we have given them manifest that what was your rank last time and what you are expecting in the coming NEET.
Yes, sir.
So you have to work hard and you have to prove that you will get that rank.
And all the students who are watching this video, irrespective of what platform you follow, and it doesn't matter. whosoever
Yes.
is the teacher whom you like, or a friend or a family member, just send a message and say
And write it down on a paper that I want this rank in NEET exam, and paste it on your wall, and daily keep on saying that.
Sir, a beautiful thing happened yesterday. I got a message on Instagram, and it was some student who got some good rank, 200 or something. And the last message, the last line was, "कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है सर, क्या करूं?" So I just replied him that, see, from "कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, क्या करूं, I don't know what to do," to the message, "Sir, thank you, I got selected." It just took 2 months.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's so beautiful to see all these things.
I think
Yes, sir.
everybody should watch that video wherein sir talks about that concept of stupid faith. So the stupid faith phenomena, may that work for each one of you watching this video, and may all of you be benefited by it.
Sir, also it's so lovely to see Dr. Netresh mentioned at the start he's an average student.
Hmm.
So all the average students, please listen carefully, but also focus that he had a focused strategy, structured preparation for his final exam. So keep that in mind. Being average won't matter, but your focus matters.
Netresh, you were talking about grand tests also. You were getting scores in 25 ranks within the grand test. My question is, for the grand test, how you review that grand test?
Yes, sir.
Because that is one main area where many students falter.
Right.
Yes, sir. And these ranks, I wasn't getting it from the very beginning, to be very honest. I will say, I was a late starter into entrance examinations. Many would believe that, and I completely agree with that. I did not give a single GT till the time I was maybe 3/4 into my internship. It's a very wrong strategy at this stage, I must say. When I look back, even after getting rank 1, I will strongly say that this was not the best thing on my part. And that GT which I gave, that was also out of compulsion, because I was feeling low that I was not being able to revise anything, because for me the hectic internship part was towards the very back end. And supposedly NEET was supposed to be held in March. So I felt that I have not been able to revise, and I was feeling very much low on confidence. So let's give a GT. So I sat for the first time, I sat for 3 hours to give 3.5 hours to give one GT. I got somewhere around 150 to 155 correct. So that I felt that, okay. I mean, okay, you have some baseline, and I analyzed where I went wrong. The subjects, at least, I analyzed where I went wrong. Most of it was what I had not been able to revise. So, okay, that gave me actually kind of confidence. And luckily, I should say NEET got postponed by June, and then again, actually it got postponed. So that's a separate story. But so I wasn't getting the best rank in the very beginning. And then I should say that with the completion of my internship and hectic duties towards the very end, again I was very much afraid of giving GTs. And I again went into INICET without actually giving any GTs. Maybe I gave just 1 or 2 prior to my INICET examination of May. Then came NEET, and then I realized that I have to actually give GTs, because in that INICET exam I also felt time constrained. I actually developed my own strategy, because NEET was supposed to be held 1 month post INICET. And what I did was, I used to solve any GT in slots. Again, this was my own strategy which I developed, because I wanted to maximize the number of GTs I give. So I used to get up in the morning early. At 6 I used to get up. First thing I used to do was to start a GT. I started that. I kept for myself I kept a timer of 40 minutes, and I had a target of 50 questions. Real exam, they give 45 minutes. I actually went a bit rigorous for myself, so that I can develop a habit of solving quickly as well. And so within that 40 minutes, I used to solve those 50 questions. For me, it was difficult actually to kind of review every question. So for all the questions, I quickly skimmed through the explanation. And if I used to find anything new or anything in bold, I used to read that at that moment itself. For the questions which I got wrong, I used to read the explanation thoroughly. I used to bookmark them. So 50 questions I am giving in 40 minutes. Whatever 25% I have got wrong or odd number, whatever it is. So that I used to review in the next 20 to 25 minutes, then and there itself. So I used to begin my day like this. Then I used to solve continuously at a stretch for whatever 6 to 7 hours. Then I used to have my lunch. Post lunch, we all feel dizzy. So that then also I picked up my next slot of GT, and I used to solve that again with the same timer. And I did that post dinner as well. So in a day, I was like solving 150 questions. And within 2 days, I was actually done with one GT and reviewing that. And I did this post actually say my INICET, and I did this till the INICET I gave in November. So this time I was able to solve this how like I solved around 20 to 22 GTs post like my INICET result between these two INICET. So I developed a habit of like solving questions fast as well as I could review them then and there itself, because I felt that somehow after 3 hours of GT, giving GT and then like reviewing them takes another 3 hours, then probably my study could get compromised, because by the time I was coming to the last question, I too one may get exhausted. So this time, this is how I actually could learn as well better and could retain that better. This again, I may not say may not work for everyone.
But one of the good things that he's saying is that do it there and then. Don't procrastinate. And another thing that I picked from what he said and so beautifully explained, whenever I felt low. So I want to pick up on that. So Netresh, the students who are studying and struggling sometimes think that the toppers have got it all figured out. They are super confident. They get up in the morning. They are like, I'll do this, and it's all hunky dory. Did you have bad days? Did you feel low? Did you have days when you thought that I can't do it?
Definitely, sir.
And how did you come out of that phase?
Yes, sir. One thing for me was like I said, my preparation probably was very smooth in the initial days of my internship. Those were the easier days for me, and I felt it is too easy actually. I mean, it will always go this smooth. I did not know at that time that whatever is lying ahead in front of me, and my duties became hectic. I did not even realize that I was not able to study, but it every day passed on quickly. I used to work. I was one of the sincere interns at my college, and I used to work a lot, and then I used to get tired and used to sleep. Slowly, the next year came, and I landed up nowhere. So I felt now I was actually feeling too low. Then I started okay, let's give one GT. Let us understand where you are. So then I gave actually my first GT. I should say that this was the one time I actually felt low. The second time I really felt low was post my NEET result. I should say I was dissatisfied because somehow from getting a rank of top 50s or top 25s in top 10s at times to land up getting that rank, which is satisfactory for many, but somehow for me it was not giving my desired branch in my desired college. So I felt a bit low. But then I said, what's there in your hand? You can only give another attempt. I mean, I always said this to myself to not have any regrets at the end. And so in myself, I held okay, irrespective of what I get, whatever result I get in my next examination, I should not have any regret कि मैंने ये नहीं किया.
Agreed.
So that is what all that I had.
He said a very good line, sir. That is what we also say in the sessions. That whenever you're stuck in a situation, just ask one question: what is it that I can do about it? And that immediately tells us that okay, this is what I should be doing. I mean, he's very mature for a 24-year-old boy. The kind of things he's saying, very nice to hear.
Acha, Netresh, were you expecting the rank 1 after the exam?
Never, sir. I mean, with this kind of staggered approach and makes and breaks, I don't think anybody if you fit yourself in my shoes, probably many would not agree with whatever I have said. Many would think I have faked all this. But I am telling you, this is the blunt truth. And this only, sums up the concept that whatever be your approach, whatever be your way of study, end of the day, there are those 200 questions. You have to give 200 answers.
But I will add on one thing that it is in spite of your little awkward approach, like you did not do the GTs and question practices, these things, but you still got a very good rank because of your studying the textbooks, because you have very strong foundation. So that helped a lot in doing that.
And definitely in this INICET, I must say it helped. Many of the questions in INI CET examination I have observed, you may not have read those within, let's say, your 4 months or 6 months of preparation that you put in towards the end. You may not have read them. But if you see the options, somehow if you have read that even once in your life, actually it somehow rolls on, it clicks.
That's why I keep on saying that when you read textbooks, there are some parts in the form of stories. They go into your brain permanently.
Yeah, so I think Tropa belladonna is one such story.
But I think this has been a very honest kind of a thing. Maybe a very unconventional approach for a lot of people, as you rightly said. But perhaps many would agree to the fact, getting up at 6, feeling dizzy after having a meal, having your own bad days, having a feeling that things are not going well for you, coming out of it in your own way. So I think a lot of people can be having a mirroring of all those sentiments. So absolutely nothing incorrect in having an unconventional approach till the time it gets to the result that you seek for.
So Netresh, now what next? What is your branch of choice? And of course, you're going to AIIMS Delhi, but what is the branch that you want to pick?
Sir, I am a medicine guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I aspired for. That was actually what left me dissatisfied after my NEET result as well, because I was not getting that branch in my desired college.
Netresh, will this medicine change to radio after some time?
Why should it, sir? I am very clear with what I want.
But I can request one thing: with medicine, focus on the prevention part also.
In the end, Netresh, I have got 3 questions for you. What is your advice to 3 different students? The first student who is in his final year and like 1.5, 2 years away from the exam. Second one who is starting with the internship. And the third one who just appeared for INI CET but got a bad rank and is full of self-doubt that whether I would ever be able to do it or not. So I want, because you are giving very succulent, very detailed answer, I want your approach for all these 3 categories of students.
Okay, sir. So beginning with the first of all, you may not even follow what I say. Be very confident in what you do, first of all. And let's say beginning with the final prof students. For them, first of all, believe that you have ample time in your hand and you have not lost the game anyhow. Irrespective of how you have been in first prof, second prof, third prof, it doesn't matter. You have not lost the game anyhow. Whatever source you are following, whatever preparation you are doing, just stick to that and have faith in that. Because every particular source teaches you whatever to whatever extent like you want. It depends on you on how much you want to learn. And of course, medical content, medical knowledge remains the same only. So focus on the immediate task up there in front of you. So if you have profs, focus on them. At the same time, whatever source you may follow, just stick to it bluntly. And I'll not say someone, okay, in your final prof, pick up your first and second prof notes as well and start reading them now. I think that's not the right strategy, because then you may land up having weak concepts in your final prof as well. That doesn't help. I think when you go to internship, the first thing that you actually pick up is first and second prof subjects only, because you believe that you are strong with final prof subjects, having done them over the last prof examinations as well. So just focus on that and give it your best shot. Your PG preparation is happening simultaneously, irrespective of the source you are following. That is happening simultaneously as well. Coming to the students who are just starting their internship. So I would say have a structure. For me, it was within the first 5 months, I wanted to do the first reading. 5 to 6 months, I have said that is probably enough to have a good first reading, and that is what I was able to do as well. So have a target for yourself. It may depend on how your internship has started. I mean, whatever, if you are having hectic duties towards the beginning or you are having light duties, that you can envisage a structure for you, but have a target for yourself. Once you have done that, try to, at the same time, solve PYQs as well, in the very beginning only.
Right.
Have develop the habit of solving question bank and at the same time solving PYQs as well. This way you will understand what the important topics are, and trust me, it is important to know the PYTs. The next reading, that is actually your first revision. Plan that within, let's say, since you're an intern, you asked sir about internship. So I think 2-3 months is sufficient for the next reading as well. And in that reading, give special emphasis on PYTs. You mark those areas in the first reading, and then, I believe that second reading can also be comprehensive. Not focusing only on PYTs, but so I should say the first revision, that can even be comprehensive within a span of 3 months. And then you can plan X many revisions depending on the date of your examinations.
Right.
Because, sir, I believe in the examination, somehow if we somewhat narrow our approach too much, then we cannot actually widen our horizon and think in the other areas of our preparation. This happened in NEET PG as well. This time they asked us pretty unconventional syndrome topics. If you haven't actually revised those in the last, I should say, 6 months, you won't even think after reading the question that something of this sort exists. So I believe it is important to have one comprehensive reading, maybe a quick comprehensive second reading, and then one can solely rely on the important areas, rapid revision and BTR, which usually help. And at the same time, solving PYQs and question bank for the topics that you have covered, that is very important. You develop a habit of solving MCQs and giving GTs as well. I will strongly disagree with what approach I followed, I must say. But you should definitely, before you are starting your internship, at least give one GT. You may give in third prof, you may give in fourth prof, but that actually I believe is one and the same thing, whether you do in third prof, fourth prof, or whether you give it in your internship. That really doesn't matter. But definitely have give one GT beforehand so that you know where you stand. And that will boost your confidence only. That will not demotivate you at all. Now coming to the ones who are just done with INICET. So, sir, we don't know what's the date for NEET PG. I think it's a speculation. We are all making assumptions.
Yes. Maybe April, maybe May, maybe March. We don't know. Yeah. Let's say it's in April. We are presuming that.
Sir, what I believe that I think at least 2.5 months in advance only will they announce the dates.
Right.
So till the time the dates are announced, we cannot count ourselves out of the race as well.
Right.
And we can, focus ourselves on building concepts.
Right.
They were tested in this NEET examination as well. They have always been tested in INICET examination as well. This is the time to build concepts.
Right.
You can follow the main video lectures. You can follow the main notes, whatever, irrespective of the platform that you have chosen. I think this is the time in which one can invest.
Right.
One can invest in solving QBank. One can invest in solving PYQs. There is absolutely no need to hurry till the time their dates have been announced, at least I must say. And in respective of the time in which you can complete that, once you're done with it, you can plan your revision. And final strategy always depends on the date.
So very nicely said that in the beginning, try to get hold of concepts as well, because NEET PG, we are saying that 60% questions are coming from PYTs, but it does not mean they are factual questions. They may be very well conceptual. So focus on the concepts, build concepts in the first and second revision. We add on to that.
But isn't it a gentle reminder of the way I think Vivek sir and Gobind sir have actually structured the mission classes? First thing is you have a structure, then you have multiple revisions. So what is coming to my mind is that, having 3 revisions down the line, then every day you got 50 questions on, appearing on your screen, by which you can just have an idea about the kind of PYQs and the PYTs that you have. And then on top of it, you have GTs, which tell you where do you stand, which are the areas or the scope of improvement for you.
So the term that I would put from what Netresh said is structured.
Yes.
And that is what is important for everybody. Have a structure, follow a structure, and I think that is what is going to take you towards the final destination. So any final questions for Netresh?
My final question is, what are your views regarding Cerebellum Academy?
Sir, I will say, I'm sitting amongst the topmost faculties of these various subjects across India. I feel very much honored to be a part of you. I said it of this team. I said in the very beginning, and trust me when I say this, have full faith in them. They have been the best faculties across these various subjects over the years, and they exactly know what we should know. So, have blind faith in them. The structured program of mission classes, of BTR, of revision, late night PYQs, late night marathon, that just follow that, and that helps me. That helps you immensely.
So a lot of pressure on us also. We can't let our juniors down.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So thanks a lot, Netresh, for taking our time and giving such a detailed interview. And again, I'm very impressed by the clarity of his thoughts.
Agreed.
So proud of you. Well done. And may God bless you.
You see.
And Dr. Netresh, you have given a hope to each and every medical student in the country. Just focus on basics.
Right.
Be ready to course correct. Stay on course. Good days, bad days won't matter. Stay on course.
All the best, students.
All the best.
All the best to all.